Hey guys.
Hey.
Yo.
I'm glad we're all here for this meeting of the minds.
And
So,
he was like,
okay, so what's going
Question about that.
Okay.
And I was going to text everyone. What is a booty play?
I must have missed that.
Hello, greetings.
Yo.
Who's here?
She's like, I can't see. I don't know what's happening. I'm giving you a patriotic look today with my fresh I voted sticker. Now, it was a provisional ballot, and it probably won't get counted, but...
I mean, you tried.
Why is it provisional?
Let's talk about voter suppression real quick, because this is what it is. I rolled up in there. First of all, am I supposed to be voting in West Virginia? I don't know. That's where I'm registered.
Oh.
My
well,
kids
yeah, you still have...
My
You
kids
still have a
still
West
live
Virginia
here.
license, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I still have a West Virginia license. Anyway,
You
I
should
roll
be
up
good.
there to the early vote. First of all, white people are crazy. Let me tell you why. So it's in the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
First, I had to wait in line, get in there. There's like this white girl and this black guy together, and I'm the only other obvious.
Of course, you're in West Virginia.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else is just like older white people. Well, this couple walks in, and they're like, "We're not here to vote. We're just here to pay our taxes because, you know, before Biden tries to raise them." And I was like, and they like are yelling this in the lobby, and we're just sitting in line, and me and the white girl look at each other. Obviously, well, it's not obvious because 50% of white women voted for Trump, so it's not obvious that she's going to.
Are they trying to be funny? But were they trying to be funny, or are they acknowledging the fact that Trump's probably going to lose? Like,
oh, a little of both. But here we go. So me and her just make eye contact, like, oh, okay, cool. So then there's another older white man that's standing by the thing, and he's like, they're talking about something. They're like, did you see what they were doing in Pennsylvania? We know who they are, and that's the blacks, because that's what they refer to us as, the blacks.
Yes.
And then they're talking to each other, and then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, I mean, I got about 3 to 4 weeks of ammunition, you know, to last me, you know, to hold out. I'm like, what the fuck do y'all think is about to happen? Do y'all think it's about to be a civil war? Is it legal for you to say that here? Is it okay?
it's not. No, it's not.
I mean, there's a number of things wrong with that. Let's start off with you were in the sheriff's office.
And it says outside the thing, like, there's no electioneering, so you can't be in there talking about who you're going to vote for.
No.
But here's how we top it all off, is then as he's talking to the woman about them paying their taxes, he's like, now who do I talk to about lowering my taxes because I'm on disability? Okay.
That's very West Virginia.
So that's the thing. So really, you should want us to pay more taxes.
You realize,
that
sir, that you are...
Yeah.
Where do you pay more taxes because it's helping you?
I guarantee
but
this is the same person. That's exactly where I was going to go. He probably did not know that the ACA was Obamacare. He's probably one of those people.
He's absolutely one of those people. So that was a thing. But then I get in there and they're like, what's your address? Well, because I can't find my driver's license. It's very on brand for me. But it said, first of all, there was so many things you could bring in as an ID. I mean, you could bring a debit card, all these things. So I had my passport. So I was like, I'll just bring my passport. No big deal. So I get in there and he's like, well, this doesn't have your address on it. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. And he was like, well, what's your address? So I'm thinking, you know, I give mom's address, you know, say, he's like, that's not the address on here. So then I say the address that was there last election, which was Beach Street. That's not the one either. So I was like, well,
but I don't think none of that shit matters when you vote early.
Apparently,
you're not voting at your polling place anyway.
I'm not voting at my polling place anyway. So apparently they had the address, because I was like, it was weird because Beach Street is the same address I had when I did voting last 2016. So what is the difference? I thought, apparently they have my address from Barron Drive, which I haven't lived there since 2015.
My God, that
That's a long time ago. So I guess I should have updated my, well, the thing is, I thought I did the right thing because I looked it up to see if I was still active. And it just said active. It didn't say anything about like it didn't even say what address was registered on there. And they were like, well, you'll have to do a provisional ballot. And I was like, I mean, I'm not coming back, so.
So what is a provisional ballot?
I guess from what I understand, they count it after everybody else's, and they have to confirm. Like I had to write on the ballot my address and then the previous address, and I guess the address that I wrote has to match the address that they have for me. But my thing is, are they really truly going to do all that?
No, you know what's stupid about that? Is
that thing went in the trash.
Straight to it.
You're exiting of the building.
Straight, and honestly, I knew that, and I was just like, I'm just here to get my sticker, because does my vote really count? I don't think so.
No.
See, this is why this whole fucking process is stupid.
It is.
Like, and that is further why it is voter suppression, because it is 2020.
Mm-hmm.
We do literally everything online.
Yeah.
I file
literally
my taxes
everything
online. I can like I submit all of my information online. Why can't we download an app, have it secure, whatever, do the whole process? You can still do voter registration, and all we have to do is press a button on the app. Why?
Let me tell you something. If I can check out the audiobook from the library,
right,
and
exactly.
these mofos revoke my access after 30 days or 21 days, whatever, why can you not? If a public library can do this, why can't an election be held the same way? You do your vote, your access is full.
It can.
I can pay my taxes online. If I can pay my taxes online.
Right.
I don't know.
Well,
so
I literally just submitted a federal background check online for government employment, which means you have my entire life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Online, actually via email, and you're telling me that you can't even like. And another thing, I voted in West Virginia so many years, like since 2008. No. Before then, what was the one? I guess 2004. I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Before Obama.
So, yeah. No
one has ever asked me for any identification going to the polling place. Have you?
At the daycare, you just roll right on in there. You say what's up.
I mean, I voted early. I voted early because we lived out of state. No one asked me for nothing. And then it don't even matter what the address says. When you go vote early, like all they want to know is you're a registered voter in Cobb County. Like it's just
Okay, I forgot I was muted. Though what doesn't make sense to me is I was going to say, well, maybe because every other time I voted before, I've used my ID, but my ID never had that address. It wouldn't have had 107 Barron Drive on it.
So how is it different from your passport, which is an even higher level of security than
That's
a
what I
license?
was going to say too. I have never in my life seen someone reject a passport. Like never, right?
Yeah.
A whole other thing
but they literally, you can bring a debit card, a library card. First of all, my voter's registration card is basically a piece of paper.
It's just a piece of paper.
It's a piece of paper.
I never had a voter registration card in Ohio. Like I just voted. Like I just rolled up in the place B and voted. Like I mean, I should have a license, but like an actual, like that's so 1993. Like what?
Well, also too because I could print out a piece of paper. And you mean to tell me that those two people, like older people, are going to know the difference? they would not. Also, listen, the lady was joking and she was like, that's why I lived in the same, because I was just naming addresses at one point. I was like, look, I moved a lot, so I don't know what address was there. She was like, that's why I lived in the same house for 45 years. Ma'am, that's a luxury I can't relate to. Okay?
Also none of your business.
Fucking shady, though.
Right. Was this the poll worker? Or
no, this was, well, yeah, she was a poll worker, but she was after the fact. She was saying, like, she was kind of like, I know it's ridiculous, this whole provisional ballot thing, but hold on. Emery has a look to give us. Come show them your Halloween.
We getting looks?
We got a look happening. With a beautiful Halloween dress. Giving us
you're okay. All right. Fashion. Okay.
Ooh.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, girl.
Yes.
Get into the spirit.
What is that?
You do need some
cotton candy realness.
It's upstairs.
Where's it candy?
On the kitchen. First of all, where, Mom? Well, and you know where it's at. Go shut the door. Shut the door. Thank you. First of all,
I appreciate. She's also gonna have a deep voice like myself, and I'm here for it. You know?
My voice gets higher when I get upset. I start raising my voice, like the octaves. But for the most part, when I hear my voice, I'm like, wow, I'm monotone.
Well, do you all remember that I literally had to go to speech therapy for like 4 years because I had a deep voice, and I was like, what? I was like, that's why I was doing.
Yes.
Why did Emery say that she was like, I guess Mom told her that she had to share that dress with Zoe, and she was like, I will not. Oh, you're back now.
First of all,
to finish off the look.
Okay, serve. All right. Yeah.
Look at that.
Okay.
Makeup.
Beautiful. Yes.
Spooky Halloween queen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
You better work. Okay. Add a little more. Yep.
She's gonna squeeze that hole too.
Work.
It's really the eyebrows for me, and I hate to bring that phrase back, but it really truly applies here.
I mean, you know how I feel about that phrase, but you know, this is when you should use it.
Yes.
Dana, so you ride the school bus?
I do. Let me tell you, I hurt my back today, and I'm mad about it because he would not get up, and he's lit. It's just. So I had to.
This is the same one.
Yes, the same one I've been with for the past like 2 months or whatever. And he thought he was funny because, like, I guess he was coloring a picture and would not get up to go to the bus. Mind you, don't know why he was on the floor to begin with, but like. So the whole time I'm like dragging him to the bus. He's like this, like pretending to color, and I like literally have a back injury now, like for real. I'm not joking. But yes, we ride the short bus.
You know, I had to ride the short bus in junior high.
One time we had to go on a field trip in elementary school. This was probably when I was in 5th or 6th grade. And the only bus they could fit us on was a short bus. And they were like, there was a car seat built in. And they made me sit in the car seat to make room. And they're like, well, somebody's got to sit in the car seat. They're like, well, Whitney's little enough to sit in the car seat on a short bus. Yeah, I had to ride it. I want to say the whole time, but I'm not sure. But I will say it helps me gain a little patience in life because,
yes.
Yeah, we had multiple stops through the bottom, and they had to use a little lift.
She gotta go. She has to let you all know.
Okay, girl.
Look at that.
Yes, and lip gloss is popping. Yes, ma'am.
All right, now go upstairs and make some s'mores.
But yeah, I learned patience because it's like, you know, it is what it is. But yep, every day. I can't remember if I had to write it to and from, but definitely in the mornings I had to ride the short bus. So, which is so crazy because I don't understand why they didn't have a stop on. It's when we lived in Dunbar, like on the other side of the Chalo. So I don't know why they didn't have a regular bus for that, but whatever.
Well, I think partially mine is because there are some students that are in a wheelchair, so you have to accommodate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely
pack your patience.
You sure do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a lot of mediating also because, you know, certain people think that people are laughing at them and like really they're not laughing at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've had to, you know, be like, oh, I don't think she's laughing because I don't think she's saying anything. You know.
Good times. Good times. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely have a new respect for teachers. Because I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
Side note, I don't know if you've looked at the YouTube comments from our fans. There's a fan by the name of Chris who said he's been a long time listener and why you do not give him any shout outs.
Dang.
Called you out.
Let me tell you about Chris. Hey Chris, this is your shout out. I also told him that I feel like my voice is too deep, so I was going to start softening it up. And I was going to start talking like this. And yeah, he said I was crazy. Yeah, he's our number one fan. And, you know, I'm his number one fan.
I appreciate it.
So.
I do too.
Also said don't mess around and get blocked.
Somebody was like, you guys are so country. Oh, you're right, because I'm from West Virginia. I am country. Okay?
Yeah. What do you want?
What do you want?
Would you rather we be out here like perpetrating and then somebody be in the comments like they're straight up from West Virginia? Don't
You know what? You know what I learned? I learned how to play Country Roads on the guitar.
What?
In music class.
Okay.
I can send you all the chords. And they also have a Hawaiian version.
What?
Really?
Yes. So.
Well, our neighbors have live music from time to time outside. And the band they had over the summer played Country Roads. And Mom and I, it was when she was here, we sang along with it. Proudly.
Bonding.
Okay.
I feel like, girl, stop. Do y'all see her? Why? Why? It's like they're like, oh, you're doing something. You're doing something.
You need me.
I'm gonna fight her.
She said it's only 3 of you all. You need a guest to fill in the 4th spot. So
basically, it's Kendra alive.
Here I am. We need to do a welfare check. Yes.
She's texting over there about a couch. Hit the light one more. Okay. Internet.
So basically, I'm here alone because everyone else is muted. Oh, there's Dana. Dana's back.
Yes, I had to go through this gate, so
yeah,
you know.
And I forgot my whole name was just out here.
Your whole name. You know what though? It doesn't come up. It's not on the video.
Okay.
It doesn't get listed.
Okay. Praise Jesus. The whole government.
That's how you know you're a professional. You have to do professional Zoom calls. What else is going on? So to make light of a traumatic situation that happened last week, for the first time ever, I had a drink poured on me. I have never experienced that. And
like Real Housewives style? Like basketball?
Like Love and Hip Hop.
But you have to tell
I
her
love
what
it.
it was.
First of all, it wasn't just any drink. It was a hours-old chocolate smoothie.
Oh.
All of it in my week.
A dairy
and I'm
smoothie?
talking about a regular size cup, basically full.
Like yogurt, Greek yogurt type smoothie.
So I
like,
believe their Smoothie King is more of like they put a powder with a water. So it was like
okay.
Like at that point, because it was melted with the ice, it was more of a yoo-hoo consistency. Still disgusting. Still disgusting. Still traumatic. Emery was there. She saw it. She saw the trauma. But I would say having a drink thrown on you is one of the most disrespectful things someone can do to you. I mean, it's not as disrespectful as being like spit on, which that has never happened to me, and I don't ever want that to happen to me. But my God, I was in beside my body.
I have a story about that. So, was this a child? Was this an adult person?
Was a baby daddy.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, this was Love and Hip Hop for real.
Oh, that's how I was like, this was really Love and Hip Hop. Now I won't.
Did you go to jail?
Did I go to jail? You know what? I did. The police were called. I think I held back a lot because the children were there.
Okay. All right.
It was in public. It was embarrassing. It was
in public?
Oh, it was super in public. About men standing around, any of them intervened? No, but they came up after.
They
came up after to let me know how sorry they were. Save
it, okay?
Right.
Save it.
Right.
What's that going to do for me? What is that going to do?
But it was pretty wild. We'll talk about it later. But I never knew how disrespectful that was to just be covered in a liquid and be like, do I shoot you now? Because that seems like the next step.
Yeah, I mean, I have been spat upon.
Excuse me?
Oh, really?
Yeah, in college. And, everybody knows. I went to college across the street from my home.
Right.
I called up Big B, who in turn called up Bigger K.
Right.
And Daddy pulled up on the campus.
As he should.
He said, now what?
Because
I thought somebody said something.
Just see.
Yeah, Daddy rolled up on him. And I probably could have been in school in California and Daddy would have still rolled up.
As he should.
You know he would have.
I feel like he would.
So I can relate. Even though,
what happened?
Yeah.
What transpired when he rolled up?
He just started trying to deny that, the situation happened, but, I carried a black satchel at the time that had a clear new mark on it that, when spit dries.
Yes. Which is
so there was evidence.
There was DNA.
And yeah. So, he just, because, Daddy swole. So he just, apologized profusely, tried to deny, sorry, deny. It's right here on the bag.
Well, if you didn't do nothing, why are you apologizing?
Right. Because,
because you did.
Big Daddy Kane roll up on, you're just going to apologize. I'm sorry. And so I can relate, even though, it wasn't a yoo-hoo consistency smoothie, but yeah.
It was ugly. Who did that?
Do we need to pull up?
You saw her, she was ugly. Oh,
She keeps calling people ugly.
Well, she does keep calling people ugly. She told Dana she was ugly. But
She did.
Oh shit. Let me get myself together.
First of all, earlier today, I was laying on the couch without my wig on. She pulled it right up, like, here's your wig. I'm gonna set it right here.
Like you need to put it right here. It needs to.
I don't know.
Nobody needs to see.
I don't know if you
that.
forgot, but you don't have any hair.
Yeah.
But yeah. Are you guys doing anything for Halloween? I bought a costume today. I can't wait. Another anime, little something. Okay.
We're doing like, they have a couple trunk or treat things going on. So, which is, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess. So that's just something better than nothing, I guess.
Yeah, we're not doing a darn thing here in the Smith household, so.
I love Halloween. I don't know that I'll be going out, but I will be taking pictures, and that's really what matters. Is what matters. Yeah. New development. I put my 2 weeks in at Amazon.
Oh, what happened?
It just.
I thought we was
didn't warrant being that tired. It truly didn't. I wanted my life back. I was tired all the time. Things there were starting to get on my nerves a little bit. But you know when you're already like kind of over something, that other things start.
I mean, when you work 36 hours a day,
literally,
it's just not healthy.
It's not. And like literally, it got to the point where it was like holidays are going to come up. I would have to miss Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, and Christmas. I would have to start working another mandatory overtime shift a week, which means that I would have to basically work 4 12-hour shifts in 1 week. I'm not doing it. And then,
which I am pretty sure is illegal. I'm pretty sure that violates labor laws. Does it not? Like,
I think because they get away with it. Here's why they get away with it. Bless you. So it would be 3 12-hour shifts and 1 11-hour shift. And because the 3 12-hour shifts are only 36 hours, 4 hours of the 11-hour shift to make it 40
is split. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Like, now, no, you can have my wig. See? Yeah. Not right
if
now.
she pulls
later.
that thing off, girl, I will hang up. Will hang up.
Listen. I'm very. We'll go get a comb. So that's Nana. Then I guess you ain't supposed to do it. Then. Anywho. So I made the decision. I listed some pros and cons and things like that. I talked to my other job, and it was just like, look, we gonna get this OnlyFans feet popping. I'll make some extra money from that, which I've made over $100.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, yeah.
Okay.
That's just it. I want my weekends back. I want my life back. And that's life.
We should start. We'll talk offline about some other things we should start doing. But good for you. You know, money is nice and stuff. Benefits are cool, but if you're not alive to read it,
right. Well, if I can't even, let's say with the benefits, when am I going to go to the doctor to see? First of all, I'm probably super dehydrated. I think about that all the time. Exhausted. Like, when am I going to go? Yeah. But, however, I have been making appointment after appointment to get these last appointments in before
yes, ma'am. You most certainly should.
I've already paid for the insurance, so I will get my get an IUD thrown up in there.
Get it.
Throw it right on.
Because that's like a good 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And you know, yeah.
Well, good for you. Good for you.
I'm reclaiming my time.
Yeah. So, you know, I was thinking in the spirit of the Halloween, we could talk about some like real life scary things that, you know, not ghost stories, but like, you know, the threat of civil war if an election doesn't turn
Which
out.
is apparently very real, because this man was legit like, and the other guy was
Well,
like,
I have a question about that too. Like, how do you know you have 4 weeks of ammunition? Like, what
is this
does
like
that
consistent
mean?
fire? Like, what do you mean?
Right. Like, are you rationing yourself like a box
And
per
then,
day of
right, and then
ammunition?
Are you a militia?
what's
Because if someone comes up from behind, then what? Then they just steal your guns. I've watched enough Walking Dead to know all that firepower can just get stolen.
Yeah, I can.
And
It's
apparently,
like-
so what's gonna happen when you run out? What's gonna happen when you run out? You just gonna give up? Like,
well, there's that, but apparently you're on disability, so allegedly you're not too able-bodied to take care of yourself. So, but
it's
also,
just like,
what are you fighting for? What is the fight? What do you think's gonna happen? Do you think someone's gonna loot your home? And apparently,
the fight.
describing it, they have like 3 trailers on a plot of land, and they're mad that they have to pay individual taxes for each of the 3 trailers. And so what do you think? You think somebody's running up and looting your trailer? If I am, it's because now I know you have 4 weeks of ammunition to be stolen.
If I am,
But to
I'm going
me,
to hitch
you know
that
what you
thing
sound
to a
like?
back of a truck and
You
drive away
sound
with it. It's a
like
trailer.
you sound like you're trying to get over on the system too. That's what that sounds like.
Hello.
Because they probably are on food stamps also, on top of Medicaid, and Medicare, on top of disability.
Of his supporters are trying to get over, whether it's a billionaire trying to get over, a business trying to get over, or all the people Dana just named trying to get over.
But if
like,
you have
most of these
3
people
cars, if you have 3 cars, you have to pay property tax on all 3 of them.
Right.
But
well,
I'm saying, like, it's the same.
And that has existed from the beginning. Well, I won't say the beginning of time, but that has existed pre
and if you really paid attention, your taxes aren't going up. You do not have $400,000 a year. So I don't know what you're talking about. But it's one of those things where it's like you're just in a room and it's like there's no point in arguing with this because you're done.
Yeah, because they don't listen. It's just like the Black Lives Matter. The thing is that I have found with most of that living beings supporters is that things are either black or white, A or B. It can't be anything else. It can't be gray. It can't live in the middle. It can't be anything else outside of this or that.
So then
it can't be Black Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter, or it can't be Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter. It can't be, oh, I'm taking a knee because I'm silently protesting because you guys want me to silently protest and not, protest, outwardly. And then I do that and I don't work for the rest of my life in my chosen profession. Like, make it make sense, you guys, because
it can't, because it don't.
Well, because it right. But then listen. You have, and then watched some of this video yesterday. Then you have uneducated, namely Black men, who are basically like, well, Joe Biden hasn't done anything, and Kamala Harris, she put all the Black men in jail. And then, like, now you got the Ice Cube situation, and it was just like, so basically they called you, but because other people were on the Zoom call, you said, nah, I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to hear it. And Kamala ain't in a position to make some real change. It's like, what? Like, she's the vice presidential candidate. Like,
yeah.
But you know what I'm
And she actually holds office right now,
in California.
In your
right.
state. Well, I noticed I was randomly on the bullshit of Shade Room, and it was, I don't even know what the post was about, but it was something political related. And obviously some type of Russian bot was like, Obama didn't do anything for Black people, blah, blah, blah. It had 121 comments under it, okay, of all these people like, you're right, blah, blah, blah. I clicked on it. That person had 3 followers. That is obviously a fake account. Why are you feeding into it? Why don't you see what is going on? Why don't you see that they're putting this out there so that you can be like, yeah, they didn't do anything for Black people. What are you talking about?
But like, let's be real about it, right? Like, let's just be honest. What did they expect Obama to do? To be able to do in 4 years, facing institutionalized racism and a Republican majority Senate who fought him on everything.
Well,
literally.
Also that, and he wasn't the president of Black people.
Exactly.
Right. The president for everyone.
I think Black people need to stop with this idea that we're not getting reparations. It's not happening. Like, it's not happening. And just because like, it was just frustrating because they were like, well, Trump's done prison reform. Has he? Or is it he just set some people free because Kim Kardashian came for a photo op a couple of times, right?
He set a lot of his little friends free as well. Okay.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I told Chris. I was like, he wraps this up and try to make it like, oh, prison reform, I did good things for these people, these men that were like, no, you did it because that helped you get your homies out.
Right.
Also.
Right.
On these little sweetheart deals and everything else, get them out of jail, and that's fine. Like, people, again, it's either A or B. It's none of the rest of the alphabet or anything else. They're stupid.
Also,
and furthermore, I don't remember signing off on Ice Cube being my spokesperson.
Right.
But even the title of it is like the Black,
no.
what's it called? Like, Black American contract?
Like,
what is
the contract with Black America or something? Like, I don't remember getting anything in the mail, like, for me to be like, oh yeah, speak for me.
You know what else? It's like going, I have yet to hear what exactly it is. Like,
fair.
What exactly is this contract for Black America?
What is he negotiating on my behalf? What is it? That is an excellent question. Let's go to the Safari.
Well, I think even with us, first of all, Black people in America obviously are not a monolith. There is no way to sit and speak for every single Black person. Like, I'm sure you all, I remember in college, because I would normally be the only Black girl in the room, they would ask me, there was one particular professor who would always ask me questions about Black people in class in front of everybody. I cannot speak for everybody. I can only speak to my experience as a Black woman in a predominantly white state. That is not the same experience as Ice Cube or anybody else.
Absolutely not. It's absolutely not.
100%.
But again,
I know.
We're all in that
just
same
speaking
box.
From like me and Van, if you just look at us, my experience and Van's experience, and we will be in the same place at the same time, and people will speak to me, but not him. Or like they'll look at him a certain way, and it's because he's a dark-skinned Black person. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, and we're both from West Virginia. We grew up differently, but like still like, right, like, you can't, equate everyone's experience to our experience either. So, but even you can't do that with white people, because white people in West Virginia lead a completely different life than the white people in California. Like, so.
Clearly, what's important to people in West Virginia is not having to pay taxes on 3 trailers.
Yes.
On one plot of land.
But, however, because guns and ammunition are not cheap at all.
No.
At all.
I mean, exactly.
So if you can invest in 3 weeks worth, I don't know if this is constant fire, apparently, in his mind. Okay, she's about to brush my wig right off.
Yeah.
This is synthetic. It ain't gonna last.
I'm nervous.
But luckily I edit these. So.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah. I'm just ready for it to all be over. Whatever
countdown
over is.
Get it over with. First of all, we're not going to know the next day. It's going to be drug out. It's going to be chaos. All my clients are going to want to talk to me about it while I'm waxing their butt, and I don't want to hear it.
No, absolutely not. Because I was appalled at the number of Black folks at his rallies in Gastonia and other areas in North Carolina. Like, you've got to be kidding me. How much are you guys getting paid to attend these rallies?
Right.
How many were people not taught? Because I was taught you don't talk about politics unless it's in a
you know what it is though, Dana?
Intimate relationship.
Like as a service industry worker, because that's basically what I am. They think because they're not at work that I'm not at work, and that's what's not fair. Is because I'm at work. Things that I say can be held against me while in this capacity, and not only that, we're isolated in a room. So it's going to be my word against yours. And people think, well, I'm not at work. I can just say whatever I want to say. And it's like, you're holding me hostage to your opinion. And that's not.
I mean, you are in an extremely vulnerable.
Well, there was
position.
I told you about the police officer I was waxing. Okay. There was see, that's how you know the police got called. Can she be in the business too much? Anyway.
I was too mad.
You was too mad, girl? Okay.
You make me only cry.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll talk about it later. Okay.
She's gonna be one of those hairstylists that like to talk
in the mix.
I like to get my hair done and be silent, like a Lyft ride. I like silent rides.
Same. I do not. This is like a relaxing time for me. I don't want to gossip. I don't want to like have this awkward conversation.
I made it for you.
Can you just do my hair?
So beautiful. Thank you.
Just do my hair.
Well, I was waxing this police officer. I had been waxing her for quite some time. I was the first person she ever got waxed by ever in life.
Okay, you guys have a relationship.
Very dramatic. I'm always in room 4, which is down the hallway. You can hear her in the lobby screaming. So I just want to say anybody who reacts that way to getting waxed probably shouldn't have a loaded weapon. Secondly, the last time she came in to get waxed, it had to be June or July, and because we were back open. And in the midst of her being over dramatic as she's getting waxed, she's like, "I'm just the most hated person in America right now." All this whole rant about, and I'm like, what? And she's like, because I'm a police officer, and just this whole thing. And I'm like, okay. So finally, so she keeps going on, and I'm just like waxing her and just trying to like get this over with. But finally, as she's getting her, because she just keeps saying it. And as she's putting her clothes on, I told her, it's not really fair to have this conversation because I cannot say how I truly feel. But I will say this. I said, being someone who has Black sons, you are not the most hated person in America. You may feel that way because the echo chamber of what you may see, but that's not the reality. I said, you have to tell me, right, just in the mix. You have to tell me that you're a police officer.
Yeah.
Period. Whereas my children or me or any other Black person or minority in America, they get that judgment before anything needs to be said. They get that judgment on resumes from what your name looks like. You know what I mean? Anything. So, I also told her, I was like, and this is coming from someone, my son literally got called the N-word last year at school. So I can't really sit here and listen to this and just say, that it's okay. And I was like, I understand, but I was like, also what you need to understand too, I told her, if you truly feel that officers are great and amazing people, which there can be really good officers, there can be, however, it's plain sight that these horrible things are happening. So you should be more mad than anybody that they're making you look like that. If you're that person, you should be one of the first people saying, that's not right, this is wrong, this isn't how officers behave. But instead, you want to be the victim. So, needless to say, never saw her again. Never been on know what happened. Totally fine with it. But that is an instance where it's not fair for you to come and tell me all your political views, and then if I tell you, you're offended. When you
but also, you could
have just said nothing.
But why, again, though, like, listen, I don't have anything against the police. What I have against the police is when police kill innocent people. And not just Black people, but mentally incapacitated people, no matter your color. Like, these mofos need to learn how to deal with these situations. Like, there's a situation that happened several weeks ago where a teenager with autism was having a moment. The mother couldn't control him. The police shot him. He didn't die, but they shot him multiple times. A 13-year-old. Like, that's just absolutely ridiculous. So that's what I have a problem with. But let me tell you, if somebody roll up on me in some type of violent fashion, I'm calling the police.
Well, see, but that's the thing, is that like police shouldn't be called in that situation with that mom, and like okay, yeah, you have a violent situation, you should call the police. Absolutely. You have a domestic situation, sure, call the police, but also call like a psychologist or something like that. Like,
they should have someone on staff that was like, listen, this came through, I need you to pull up. Like,
because like
in my
because like if
go ahead.
If there's medical emergencies, why are the police showing up first? They shouldn't. Like, but they do. You know what I mean? Like, so they're just human. They cannot handle all these separate instances and situations because they're not trained to. So, right, you should have a psychologist on staff. You should have like
a social worker needs to come with you, but
social worker.
It's literally their
because
job.
you can even see like half the time they'll be like, honestly, I don't even know. This is just. They even say it like, I mean, my hands are tied. This is the only thing I know how to do. So.
But let me tell you though, I have watched countless videos of a deer being trapped in somebody's pool, or
and they call the police.
A dog being trapped in a gate, and the police come and rescue it. And I didn't see a deer get shot. I didn't see not an animal killed. And these are like violent, and not necessarily violent because, you know, they're just scared and they don't understand, but they didn't. I watched a video over the summer of a deer being trapped in a pool, and the police got it out. They didn't shoot the deer. The deer's like, you know, bucking and going crazy and everything like that. They didn't shoot and kill the deer. So a person, I get it, your life is in danger because someone's charging at you with a knife, but it's also a knife. It's not bullets by the teens being riddled at you. It's a knife. You might get slashed, you might get cut. It's not.
Well, and then that's the thing, because like, but you have a taser to you know, debilitate or whatever to stop people. You have a nightstick, and you should be trained on hand-to-hand combat, right? So the gun should be your last resort.
You could just not. You could isolate the area in this last situation in Philly. You could just keep other people out of harm's way and wait till someone, a professional trained in the episode that this man was having, arrives on the scene. When someone is holding people captive in a bank, or, you know, holding people hostage, what do? You try to do whatever you can so that no lives are lost. How is that situation any different? Jimmy, like, showing the screen, showing all the business. But yeah, like, you could have just isolated the area. And I know I speak as someone that does not work in law enforcement or anything, but there has to be a better way. Like, this is just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, that another conversation that branches off of this, though, is in the situation that this was happening last week. I chose to call the police because at this point, there's 20 men around. Nobody's helping me. I don't want to escalate and go too crazy. My kids are right here. I'm just going to call the police. Now, in that moment, there was, oh, you're going to call the police. You're not going to believe you would do that. Well, I also can't believe that you would be physically violent towards me. So there's this also notion that if you're in a situation, you should subject yourself to a certain behavior because, oh, we're so anti-police. I'm not anti-police. I'm anti, like you said, I can't even focus on what I'm saying. If you got it, hold on.
It's just crazy to me how, like, you could do something like that is kind of violent, right? Like, throwing a drink on someone is violent.
Yeah.
And then expect me not to call authorities on you to protect you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have no concern for my protection.
Well, and that's the thing.
In this environment.
The throwing the drink was just the point where I was like, okay, but it was an altercation that was happening outside.
Right.
That could have gotten worse. And on one hand, I don't want to call the police. On the other hand, you need to be responsible for your actions.
Yeah.
You could just do that.
You could just do that. And it's that the discussion with which I'm tired of the Megan Thee Stallion, Tory Lane situation, because obviously I feel like we're never going to know what truly happened. People are being really annoying about it.
Not on this side of heaven. We will never know.
We will never know what truly happened with that. At this point, I'm okay with it. It's just like, honestly,
but
it's
I
like
do wonder.
Elevator.
I do wonder what she said to him. To like, I know she was.
It had to
off.
have been a short joke. It had to be in regards to being short.
In his spirit for him to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it had to be like that. Cut so deep. That's so funny though.
Well, that's just like it's not funny, but it's just like back when the Chris Brown and Rihanna situation happened, and there was this joke that was like, you know, he had to be getting his ass beat if he started biting her fingers. That's not the shit you do in a fight. Like, it's not. You don't just start fighting somebody. You do not do that. Like,
yeah,
it's not funny, but it is.
Right.
Like, but I don't know. Or earlier in the summer, you probably didn't know this, Tasha, but earlier in the summer, all I wanted was a drainer to strain my spaghetti. So I was like, I'm gonna stop at Dollar Tree real quick. And while I'm in there, this man starts beating this girl in the back of the store, right? So I ran out because I didn't have my phone on me and nobody was calling the police. Everybody was trying to stop him, but I was like, okay, the police, somebody needs to come. Also, in that moment, I didn't know we don't know if he got a gun. We don't know how crazy this man is. So
we all know what can go down when somebody pull up at somebody's job.
Right. So I go to the car and I'm calling the police. And I'm just like trying to explain to them the situation. And it's like, this is in the midst of the whole, like, trying to, like, police reform and all that. But somebody got to stop this, okay? Because homegirl was getting beat in the back of the Dollar Tree. And what do you do in that situation?
What do y'all want to do?
I'm sorry. If I'm getting beat in a store or any situation and everybody's like, I would call the police, but I'm also not going to stop what's happening. Like, what's the answer?
Right. Exactly. If my rights are being violated, somebody's getting called.
That's it.
If I'm in danger, someone's getting called.
Honestly, yeah, but that does not mean that we should not hold them to a certain standard and like expect that, like, it's not one or the other, right? Like yes, you should protect us, but at the same time, like, you need to, we're calling you because you're supposed to be able to handle yourself in these situations.
Right.
And you have the weapon and you need to be able to escalate things without people getting killed.
Yeah.
So it's not, oh, Black Lives Matter means fuck the police. It doesn't mean that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or it means anti-white, I hate all white people. It doesn't mean that at all. Like,
absolutely not.
and that's what's so wild about it to me, is that,
well, like, I was asking Chris the other day, like, what exactly are people trying to convey? And it was more of a rhetorical question, but what are they trying to convey with these yard signs that say Blue Lives Matter?
Right.
Like,
who said they didn't? No
Who
one
said
said
they
that
didn't?
they didn't matter.
First of all, blue is not, that's not a thing.
Well, but that's
But also,
exactly.
So if you have a problem with somebody saying a specific person matters, then why can you say a specific person matters?
exactly. And to your point of what you said to your former client, I don't know what people do for a living.
Right.
Until it's told for me.
They
You
tell
know
me.
from the gate.
Right.
What I am, or at least you assume. You might make the wrong assumption, you might think whatever, but you know I'm not of your
Right.
race.
Right.
Out from the jump, without me opening my mouth, without anything.
Yes. So I don't know, man. This has been a
To
heavy.
that, this like ventures off to that. So remember how they always say, because that goes back to my like rabbit hole thing that I did when I was like Google searching and found like some history or whatever on our family. I showed it to Whitney, but she said it looked like a check mark. But part of me thinks it was an I for Indian for our grandfather.
But you guys said that there was, okay. But yeah, there's no traces, right?
Well,
there's no DNA traces.
Like genetically.
Well, so
right.
The theories are that there aren't a lot of, because they base a lot of the genetic tests on the sample pool that they've had. And most Native American people know that they're Native American. So they don't have a reason to go get an ancestry test. So that could be part of it too. That's why the DNA constantly changes too, because the more samples they get, the more information they can get, allegedly. So I can kind of see that too. Now, I don't know, they may go and get samples from, you know, Native Americans. I doubt it. But that's the information that I've kind of been given, is that, you know, there's a lot of like people who know their ancestry don't seek out ancestry.com. Really.
Okay. Word.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still think it was a check mark. I did not see an eye way. But could be, you know, don't know.
Well, it was a little confusing because like I was looking at the census, right? So it was like 1900, 1910. I think one went back to like 1880, something like that. And it really depended on who's writing it, because like a lot of the handwriting couldn't even read.
Wow.
So, and I thought it was weird that only that set, like his family had a check mark.
Yeah.
Why would, and that look like an eye, right? And then I also thought it was weird that Madison, which was weird, I guess wasn't integrated, but you would have like black and white people living next to each other. So, and then you had white people named Price, right? You had white people named Smooth. So like,
yeah.
And then our grandma, on one census, they named her Mulatto, and her whole family was Mulatto. But it was like, well, where did that come from? Because you don't get mulatto from like nowhere. But then I was like, well, did they just say that because they were so light? Because in the next one, it was like black.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and also too, that's a very subjective thing. I mean, there are people who, like you said, if you had 1% of black, they just assumed you were black. They didn't care about anything else. So it's almost like.
Well, right. So that's makes it wonder, like, well, because at by that census, she was already married to our grandfather's or great grandfather. So they're probably like, they're just black. It's a black household, right? But I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It was interesting.
All I know
I
is
think
my
we would probably
Nigerian
just tuck that
going
away
down
with
day
Meg
by
the
day.
Stallion. The what?
I said my Nigerian keeps going down by day, and I'm not okay with it. Okay?
No, I don't want to be Nigerian.
Ooh. Right. Whoa. Way to isolate the fan base, Dana.
Right.
Sorry.
Listen, guys, I don't feel that way. I am 1 percentage point on Ancestry away from getting a flag and hanging it in my home. Okay? I'm scared.
Honestly, I don't think there's really any real way to tell what we are. Like,
We're gonna do one of the African ones and see what it says.
Yeah.
okay.
We should do that.
We should, and do an unboxing on, or a reading on live on Real Sisters.
Sorry, I was muted. I just sent you this alleged picture that she thinks is an eye and it's really check marks. I sent it on the Real Sisters group. And,
Okay.
but
Oh,
yeah,
that's really
I
hard
think that would be fun to get our African ancestry, but we can know and understand our heritage.
Yeah, I think it's a check mark.
It's a check.
So why is it like just
What's a
for
So what's in these columns? Like I see 18.
right? And
That's
then
an
that's
age.
an M for male, and then B is for black. But then if you see like down below the under the 17-year-old, it says 8-12. So I guess that baby was 8 months old. And then a male. But is that and I think that's supposed to be an M for mulatto.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, so where did that come from? Like, did you get raped?
That, yeah.
Like, where did that white mixed baby come from?
Right.
I don't remember which year that one was, but you don't just pop out mulatto. Like, and then it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. I hate the phrase mulatto. I just don't.
I don't either.
It's awful.
Yeah.
So speaking of mulattoes, have you guys like seen on Amanda Seals' IG where she's like, there's people telling her she's a non-foundational black?
What?
I've never heard that term.
Like,
because
a non-foundational
because she's
black.
light-skinned.
Well, yeah, that's what they're, and you know, her mom is from Grenada, and I believe her dad is just regular black. But yeah, because she's light-skinned, light-eyed, you know how blacks want to further divide themselves. So yeah, there's this thing called foundational blacks.
Let me Google this phrase.
I guess we're not foundational blacks. So is that like basically a politically correct term for what I've heard my entire life? Probably you have too. We are not like really black, like, right?
All the time. I didn't get that a lot. I would get it from very specific people. Always offensive every time. First of all, I will never. Of course, colorism exists. Of course, it does.
Absolutely.
It existed, and I think it'll unfortunately exist for a very long time. However, I don't think that I've had no other experience than that of a black girl. I've never been mistaken for a white girl. I'll never be mistaken for a white girl. Despite the blonde hair, I'll never try to be mistaken for a white girl. So I don't know how to be anything other than black. And I think when we as a people try to force ourselves, black comes in so many colors. So like you said, why separate ourselves even further.
Well, how do
The
you
fight
define
is the fight.
what black is, right? Like, how do you define
Yeah.
what is the black, like who?
Well, because here's the
Why
thing.
do we do that?
Why do we do that? Because my thing is, like, there's so many layers to blackness, or what we consider what blackness is, that it doesn't necessarily, a lot of our experiences aren't just based in being black. They're regional.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it familial? Is that a word? Familial? Girl. All right.
So yeah, there was a foundational Black American conference. We missed it. Not that, we would have been invited. But
See, when you say that to me, that makes me
yeah.
think of, like, so you're talking about, when you say foundational Black American, to me that would mean a slave that just came off the boat. Like, right? And if at that point none of us are, like,
Yeah. So I think the reason they may have been coming for Amanda. So the definition says, according to Urban Dictionary,
okay.
an American-born Black person who's descended from Africans who were forced over to America via slavery. So I'm going to stop there. And I think what people don't understand, I think because her mom is from Grenada, they feel like, I think American Blacks forget or don't know that people on the islands, the Caribbean islands, how did they get there?
Right.
How did they get there?
They didn't just sprout and say, hey,
well, right.
this
so
land
like,
that's in the middle of the ocean, this shall be ours. Like,
well, right.
where do you think those people came
was
from?
common knowledge that, like, Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba, Puerto Rico, all the Bahamas were like stops on the way to America.
Slave trade, transatlantic slave trade. So
right,
just follow the map. Where did they go? Like this. Like, I don't understand.
No.
I don't know, man. I just, like, we have so many fights to fight. Why this one?
Well, but then that makes you think, so, like, are
Why
you isolating just her? What about all the other, like, Black Americans that are of West Indian descent? Are they not foundational African Americans either? Like, and it's silly for them to be called West Indian. Like,
well, it's like Nicole Byer on her podcast. She said a couple times all her life she told people she was, like, part Indian, but it's because her mother was like, oh, referring to, like, oh, our family's West Indian, and she was like, oh, that's what you meant.
No, that's funny.
I saw some really cute cousin shirts on the Shade Room. Why do I be looking at them? They were really cute, though. It was like the cousin that ain't coming. They were really, really cute. It reminded me of the shirts you had made for us from Jamaica. We actually, surprisingly, it's so wild. I have really transformed my image throughout this decade, guys. Let me tell you why. So we had a meeting at work like 2 weeks ago, or I don't know when it was. And we had to do like this. We always got to do icebreakers. First of all, we've worked with each other long enough. We don't need to break any ice. But anyways, we had to do like superlatives for each other and like do a vote. And some of them were really goofy and some of them weren't. Like, one of them was like most likely to lose their keys. And it's like, that's me every day. But first of all, what do y'all think I got most of? Like, what did you think? Can you guess? You probably can't. I got voted as most caring. Right? Wow.
Okay.
Wow. What a plot twist. Didn't see it coming. I told him, I was like, wow, that's crazy because I
Who
don't
was the
care.
panel?
Huh?
And who made up the panel?
My coworkers. And what's wild is I don't care at all. I think.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, these crystals are
You
really.
got everybody fooled.
I do listen, Dana. I do care to an extent. I feel like I'm a good listener.
I think that's really what it is.
I'm just a good listener. Okay.
You know what? And I think that's the thing is that people equate being able to listen with caring, and it's really not the same.
Here's also the thing, like me and the problem I have with like being considered the good listener, literally all the time people want to tell me their problems, and it's
same.
It gets to be too much because I have quite a few of my own.
Yeah.
And I'm not the most like open person with other people, like outside of like my very, very close people. So I'm not, it's not fair because I don't get to reciprocate this relationship.
Yeah.
You get to come and kind of like emotionally dump on me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just kind of like, then also too, I'm not really an advice giver because I just feel like, first of all, we lost Dana.
We did. She
but
froze, and then
I'm the type of listener where I will listen to what you have to say, but I can't really dictate your situation. I can't tell you what to do. And the problem with that though is people really like that because they don't feel judged. And the thing is, I am secretly judging you in my mind.
Yeah, and yeah. And I think they mistake that for caring. Not saying that that's what happened in your case, but I feel like that.
I do not care about people, like their situations. However, I don't want a daily update on your relationship.
Especially if you're not going. What am I saying? What?
I don't know what happened.
First of all, once again, we had a discussion. You're currently. Okay, thank you. Thank you for bringing it. We need the consistency. Thank you. But once again, I have one coworker in particular that every Sunday I come into work already working 12 hours on my feet. So I'm already very tired. And she's always like, I'm exhausted. And I'm always like, no, the fuck you're not. I don't know. There's literally nothing you could do that would make you as tired as me. And I really don't care what you did because I'm really tired.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You know what? Kind of in the same sense, but a little different. Like my coworkers in every job I've ever had think I'm like hilarious when I'm really like being smart and like.
Are you the Stanley?
Not. Yeah. Like they think I'm being funny, but I'm like shading them at the same time. But they think I'm a hoot.
You sound like Charlotte.
I'm like Charlotte.
Like that wasn't a joke, but okay, guys, make sure.
Not sure you're not receiving the message in the way that I think you should.
Yeah. I mean, it's expert shade. Because that's really the whole point of shade.
As Dustin Ross says, the best shade throws itself.
Yeah.
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 The best shade throws itself. I
looked at the shirts.
Yeah. Aren't they cute? They're cute. We can make our own. We can make our own versions and throw them up on the Real Sisters Pod merch. That's really it. That's really the move. So we'll talk about that later. We'll discuss it later. But we're coming up on an hour or past an hour.
I felt like this was heavy. I mean,
this was. We should have.
This might be like a. Oof.
I can't make a fun 50-second clip of this. It's too heavy. Come on, let's say something silly.
You know what? But I will say, and I think I texted this to you guys in the group. When Amanda Seals be looking disheveled and her hair all over her, that's my spirit right there. Like literally.
Yeah. When I wake up, that's how I feel. Mm-hmm.
Do you all ever feel like, because I go from, I know what I look like when I want to look good. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that
Word.
people, that's why when I don't look that great, like when I said going into Amazon, I still look all right. But y'all think this is my best and it's not. Okay. It's really not, because I don't come to impress y'all. But I know what I look like when I'm trying to look good. And this ain't it. So,
Word.
This ain't it. Okay. Also, did a therapy consultation. I told you I'm trying to get all my Blue Cross Blue Shield co-pays in while I can.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. Can't wait to start the therapy journey. You know?
Yeah.
Dana, he's not, she needs therapy. She won't go.
Yeah. I need it. It's that first step.
It is. It's hard.
Same.
Plus, also too, it's awkward because it's like, what do I say in this 15-minute consultation? Do you want to hear?
I feel like once I open the floodgates, they're gonna be like, "Girl,
First of all, I almost cried during the consultation, and she was just giving examples. I was like, oof.
Let me tell you what. I joined at work. We have like these women's circles. And so the woman that's over the one that I was requesting to join, she was like, well, let me just give you a call. When I tell you, I bawled.
You know what, though? This is my thoughts, though. I think our family is just a really repressed family.
Absolutely.
Lots of trauma, and we are the type, if you ask me how I'm doing, I'm going to say fine or good. I'm not going to tell you whatever is truly going on or my thoughts and feelings. I'm like, oh, I'm doing good. How are you? It's a courtesy.
But when you hit that button,
you trigger the right. It's not going to stop. I don't know how to handle it. And
I know we are some criers too.
I'm
Once
a
we
crier.
start,
I'm a crier. And once I start, it's almost, remember we were at the dinner at Jamaica? Somehow we were all crying. It was like,
and it was like, this was supposed to be a happy.
First of all, because we were initially angry about the rides, the price of the rides, our carpool. Then it turned into, I started talking about like, guys, I didn't think I was gonna be here.
I know.
I didn't think I was gonna make it. And the next thing, Monica's like, I didn't think I was gonna make it either. And then we all were crying, and it was like, so let's talk about salmon.
The waiter came back like, so do y'all want these Caesar salads or not?
I placed them to the side. Yeah, good times. Yeah.
What a way to go out. Yeah. It's like the season finale of The Real Housewives.
It really was. I think the all white set it off.
Yeah. It did.
Sad, because it's like, when will we ever be able to do shit like that again, though?
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
Together.
Well, you can't recreate that same magic. Like, we'll never have the go to the beach day and Kendra be amazed by a plane, even though she flew on one to get to Jamaica.
I need to get that blown up and send to her, because that's one of the greatest pictures.
I don't know what she thought she was seeing. Like, girl, you were
crazy
just
part
on
is
one
that
of
was
those
like
yesterday.
That was so early in the day. So
That's what's so funny. It was like, wait a minute. When did you go from 0 to 100? Like, you were just at a 0. Like, you know.
Yeah. Like, we just got here. We literally just got here.
Okay. Yeah. No times.
So we can't recreate that magic, but you know, and that's where you go wrong when you try to recreate it. You just need to let it flow.
Let it flow. Let it
Just,
be.
you know, what happens. I mean, we need to get out of COVID and or just say F it.
The thing is,
and
my
I've heard
thing is,
Hawaii
like,
was holding people hostage, so we can't go there.
my thing is like now they're talking about we're starting a third wave, and I'm like, wait a minute, when did the first one end?
First of all, this
When
is
did the first one end?
Yes.
They need to quit calling it waves and just say it's an avalanche that has just continued. Mm-hmm. It's just snowballing. Mm-hmm. There was never a point where it got better. It just wasn't.
Yeah, it never stopped.
So, I mean, I will say this. Everybody's like, aren't you nervous for Evan to go back to school? I am, but he needs to go. And here's my thought. Here's my just really quick. Working at Amazon and working at European Wax Center are both high-risk environments. So we're already high risk. Now, there's multiple things that can branch off of that. That's actually makes the case as to why kids shouldn't go to school, because that's just exposing other kids. Mm-hmm. However, I'm so tired of cussing these teachers out. I don't have the patience. Literally today, she's just lucky we were here at Mom's, because I put him on the call and he was purposely on mute because there's a million children here, plus my mom, who all day would not be quiet. I'm like, you have to be quiet. They can hear you. But then she's like, Evan, I need you to get off mute. I need you to get off mute, Evan, because I need you to get off mute. If it's quiet there, I need you to get off mute. He gets off mute a minute later. Evan, I can hear talking in the background.
Oh, see.
That's
when I'd be like, step aside, Evan, let me have a seat.
Does she expect from a kindergartner? Like, in a kindergartner's household, like that's the part that's like wild to me.
Do you think he has a personal office? No, he is.
That's what I'm saying. He's in kindergarten. Like,
yeah.
Even with Jaden,
just wants to find something.
It's like, but why? Like, these are second graders, and like, yeah, the majority of these moms stay home, but some of us don't. So like, why do you have links and passwords to all these different pages? Like, they need to be able to get on it themselves. Like, or you need to just like, I don't understand. There's only like, for whatever reason, Jaden's class is like a mix of two classes. So then they break off into small groups. Well, that right there is dumb as shit. Yeah. Like, why don't you just have small groups already set? So when they log on, they're in the group. Like
stop trying to do in-person stuff via Zoom or whatever you're using. Like, stop it.
And it's like,
we don't need a breakout room.
He's got to do this shit on like iReady. Then he's got to do this on their ass kids. Then he's got to do this on like some other shit. It's just like, and I'm like, Jaden, what are you doing? Then the whole other thing is that like, she writes everything they're doing for the day on the planner. So I don't know what's homework, because when I grew up, you just wrote your homework on the planner. You didn't write the day's activities on the planner. So
well, God bless you all, you parents of school-age children.
God bless them kids, because Evan might be a dummy. Because if it's up to me,
I mean, another thing is that Keon thinks he's slick, because
that's Elijah Lee Woods. Let me tell you something.
It's like, I'll ask you, did you do your work? Did you turn such and such in? And then I check your grade and it says 0. And it's like, so
let me tell you, he was telling Charlotte that the zeros meant it hadn't been graded yet. Not that the line means it ain't been graded yet. A 0 means it got graded and you submitting nothing. So, but anyways, I digress. I think this is episode 16, which is really like episode 21 because there's so many lost episodes. But on the books, this is episode 16, and heard us closing out, so she's got to say.
Well, I think we gave you enough content to work with.
What'd you say? I think so.
We gave you enough like positivity.
Right. I'm gonna, because you came to say bye. Okay. Say goodbye. Tell them what your TikTok is. What's your Instagram? You got your dance. She's.
Love it.
But that will wrap this up for this week. I will edit this down, and you all be safe.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.